Hello and welcome to my channel and our 10th day in Vietnam. The day's itinerary included driving to the Ninh Binh province to visit Hoa Lư, the ancient capital of Vietnam and the site of the Dinh and Lê temples. We would then drive on to Tam Coc to take a boat ride through this World Heritage Site called the Halong Bay on land. Here we are entering the Hoa Lư, ancient capital of Vietnam in Ninh Binh. It was the first capital of Vietnam in the 10th century under the Dinh and Lê dynasties. It contains temples dedicated to Emperor Dinh Dien Hoàng and Emperor Lê Đại Hưng. This beautifully illustrated banner celebrating the 1100th birth anniversary of King Dinh Dien Hoàng depicts the fascinating history of the two kings of Hoa Lư. Emperor Dinh Dien Hoàng, whose original name was Dinh Bo Linh, was born in 924 in a time of great chaos known as the 12 Warlords period. As a child, he was famous for playing war games with other children, using reeds as flags, symbolizing his leadership skills. He eventually led a powerful army, defeated all the warlords and unified Vietnam in 968, declaring himself Emperor Dinh Dien Hoàng and naming the country Dai Co Viet. He established Hoa Lư as his capital, built fortifications and strengthened the country's military. He promoted Buddhism and Confucianism to stabilize his rule. Dinh Dien Hoàng planned to make his son Dinh Lien the heir, but in 979 both he and his son were assassinated by a palace official. His young 6-year-old son, Dinh Tuan, was too weak to rule, so the queen and court officials decided to transfer power to Lê Van, the commander of the royal army. Lê Van was a trusted general under Dinh Dien Hoàng. After the assassination of Dinh Dien Hoàng, his queen placed Lê Van on the throne to defend the country and he took the reign name Lê Đại Hưng. In 981, he led Vietnam to victory against an invasion by the Sung dynasty of China. Lê Đại Hưng strengthened the military and expanded trade with neighboring regions. He promoted agriculture and infrastructure development. He continued the Buddhist influence, building many pagodas and temples. Lê Đại Hưng ruled until his death in 1005. His sons fought for power, weakening the dynasty. Eventually, in 1009, Lý Công Un seized power and established the Lý dynasty, moving the capital to Thang Long, now known as Hanoi. Our guide Justin said he might have done this as Hoa Lư was prone to floods and also probably too small to be the capital. After their deaths, the Vietnamese people built temples to honor Dinh Dien Hoàng and Lê Đại Hưng in Hoa Lư. These temples serve as reminders of their contributions to Vietnam's independence and early state building.
Yes, come inside, please. Vietnam, we have a 4 holy animals. Dragon symbol for the king.
Yes.
Yeah. For the king lying and sleeping. It have been 500 years already.
Yes.
5 centuries.
Get in on the right side and get on the left side. Okay.
And this is the wood, okay?
Yes.
Iron wood, Vietnam.
Iron wood.
Iron wood.
Yes.
Very stable, 500
Yes.
years already.
Yes.
So until now, very stable.
Very good.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's good in condition. Very well in Vietnam. So
Yes.
now in Vietnam don't have a more.
Right, right.
We import from Laos.
Laos.
Yeah,
Okay.
Laos. Because when we visit on new house, the house is very cool.
Why they kept this man?
Yes. And there is fish food.
Xe ôm đi sâu vào trong, xin mời xe ôm không dừng đỗ ở khu vực di tích.
What did
Tất
she
cả
say?
các xe di chuyển
She
vào
said
sâu vào
that the
trong.
motorbike cannot park here, go inside this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Một lần nữa, các anh chị xe ôm lưu ý phải giữ cái hình ảnh. Lần sau thì không được dừng đỗ ở khu di tích.
Yeah, fish.
Yes.
We wait for them go on out and we go.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And then this one we might just mean for the harmonize for the visitor temple. Yeah. The water and then the wind. We follow the Chinese feng shui. The wind and then the shui, feng shui.
After leaving Hoa Lư, we drove to Tam Coc about 20 minutes away. The Tam Coc boat ride is one of the most iconic and serene experiences in Ninh Binh, often referred to as Halong Bay on land. The ride starts from the Tam Coc wharf and the duration is about an hour and a half to 2 hours for a round trip of about 4 kilometers. The boatmen and boatwomen in Tam Coc are famous for a unique and skillful rowing technique, that is rowing with their feet. Using their feet allows them to row for longer periods without tiring their arms. Since many of them row multiple trips a day, this method helps conserve energy. Here we are passing a limestone karst formation. Tam Coc is famous for its dramatic karst topography, where these towering limestone cliffs rise steeply from the water, formed over millions of years by erosion and weathering. Now there are two pieces of information that I want to share about the Tam Coc boat ride. The Tam Coc entrance fee is 120,000 Vietnamese dong per adult and the boat ride costs 250,000 VND per adult. The boat people take 2 foreigners or 4 Vietnamese people per boat. So Justin had explained to us that we would need 2 boats as there were 3 of us. He also told us that we would need to tip each boatman 50,000 VND. So my husband and I started to board one boat and Justin started leading our son to another one. However, our boatman said something to him in Vietnamese and Justin told us that the boatman was willing to take all 3 of us in the same boat. We realized later that this was probably so he would get 100,000 VND as tip instead of 50,000. However, it was a long ride and a lot of hard work for our boatman, so we didn't mind and decided to give him the 100,000 VND, as we would have spent that much on tips anyway. However, what happened later surprised and startled us a little bit. When we were nearing the end of our ride, our boatman stopped our boat some distance away from the riverbank. He held out his hand and said, "Tip." I handed him the money and then he rowed us to the riverbank where we got off. From what I have read online, the boatmen do this as they are poorly paid. But for anyone planning to take a Tam Coc ride, I think it would be wise to discuss the tip with the boatman or boatwoman before getting in the boat and to keep the money ready towards the end of the ride to avoid any altercation. Now about this woman with the umbrella passing us in her boat. She seemed friendly, waved to us, asked us where we were from and seemed to be taking pictures. We didn't think much about it though. Later when we got off the boat and started walking to our car, this same woman approached us with an album of 4 of our photos and demanded we buy it for 250,000 VND. We told her that we hadn't asked her to take them and that she was asking for too much. Then she got really loud and aggressive and started almost shouting at us to buy them. I gave in and bought them only because I felt very uncomfortable that she had photos of my family and didn't want to annoy her. If you see anyone like this getting close to your boat and taking pictures, my advice is politely and firmly say no thank you so they know they are not going to be able to force you to buy any photos they take. So Tam Coc gave us a few travel bloopers, but I'm happy and relieved to say that the sheer beauty of this place and the serenity of the boat ride more than made up for those and made it all feel like part of the adventure. During the Tam Coc boat ride, along with the scenic beauty of the limestone karsts and green rice paddies, you get to experience gliding through 3 dramatic natural water caves carved through the limestone mountains by the Ngo Dong River. These are the Hong Ka, Hong Hai and Hong Ba caves. As you pass through, you'll feel the ceiling closing in. Some parts are very low, so you may need to duck. The atmosphere is cool and damp with stalactites hanging overhead. The echo of water and ore splashes gives it a mysterious feel. These caves are completely natural and not man-made. The low-hanging ceilings and close contact with the rock formations almost makes you feel like you're moving through an underground river. The caves are also tied to spiritual beliefs and are considered places where nature, water, and stone are in harmony. The boat then turns around shortly after exiting the third cave. On the return journey, you pass back through the same three caves but now in reverse order. This happens as the Go Dong River is not circular. It is a linear route that ends and retraces its way back to the Tam Coc dock. So during your 1.5 to 2 hour ride, you'll enjoy 6 cave experiences in total. The return trip can feel quite different because the light, angle, and reflections change direction. However, it is just as scenic. I'm nearing the end of my video now. I'm adding a few videos taken on my phone showing a close-up of the stalactites and the roof of the cave. Towards the end, there are 2 videos showing mountain goats and a close-up of the famous rice paddies of Tam Coc. So this was our day trip to Ninh Binh, which was a journey through time and nature. From the ancient temples of Hoa Lư that tell us stories of Vietnam's imperial past, to the boat ride through Tam Coc, gliding past rice paddies, under towering limestone karsts and through magical caves, the day was unforgettable. Ninh Binh is a place where history, culture, and stunning landscapes blend beautifully. Thanks so much for watching. Do tune in to the next video where we drive to Sapa and visit Kat Kat village, the home of the Black Hmong ethnic people. And bye for now.